Ernestine Williams, Angela Wilson, Rakisi Wilson, and our criminal justice graduates viewing via live stream are Crystal Bowley, Christina Graham Hall, Morgan Pennington Harris, Veronica Spencer, and Janisa Warren. Now on to the candidates for Associate of Science in Paralegal Studies. They are Christina Felderman, Tierria Gibbs, Latoya Gordon, Hyla Jackson, Alexis Keller, Jessica Madden. Oh, okay. Secrets. Virgo. Virgo. Shandiz Urabi, Jeanette Watson, Kelly Adjo Yovo, and our paralegal studies graduates viewing via live stream. The candidates are Jacqueline Becerra, Teresa Jordan, Jennifer Joshua McMillan, Colette Kostrava, Ramona McCarter, and Ashley Moran. I present to you the court reporters, criminal justice, and paralegal professionals of the future.
Thank you, Dr. Mysuria. We will now continue with Dean Krishke, who will present the Business Administration and Entrepreneurship programs. Dean Krishke, please approach the podium.
Hello, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, we are gathered today to celebrate the achievements of a group of exceptionally talented individuals who will receive degrees from business administration and entrepreneurship programs. When your name is called, please approach the stage and remain standing. It is with great honor to present you with your degree. The candidates for Associate of Science in Business Administration are Destiny Charles, good job, Latoya Cooper, Tiffany Dallas, Genevieve Eskridge, Taekwana Horsey, Tarnisha Hoskins, Brittany Eisen, good job, Ebony Johnson, thank you. Shakira Johnson, Yeah. Huh? Okay. Shakira Johnson. Javarius Lay. Very nice. Good job. Very nice. Patricia Mohammed. Abigail Osgood. Thank you. James Rowe. Tiffany Ware. Carrie Webb. And our business administration graduates viewing via live stream candidates are Jennifer Seka, Destiny Cooper, Ada Cyril, Deja Fisher, Shanice Joyner, Gina Larson, Megan Morgan, Ebony Perryman, Yuket Sanders, Scotia Stewart, Griselda Vasquez, and Janine Viru. Give them a hand. We have a seat. Great job. The candidates for Associate of Science in Entrepreneurship are Curtis Birch, Gayeth Silo, Tiffany Dallas, Taquana Corsi. Sorry. Oh, it's like, okay. Okay. Bring her down. Hope Rocket. And our entrepreneurship graduates viewing via live stream candidates are Moya McDowell, Courtney Soquist, Naringa Sventikin, and Yasmin Williams. I present to you business administrators and entrepreneurs of the future.
Dr. Stevens, Chancellor of Generations College, will now confer the right to be recognized for your degrees.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment we've all been waiting for. I will now confer the right for you to be recognized as having achieved the associate degree. By the authority vested in me by the State of Illinois Board of Higher Education and the Board of Trustees of Generations College, upon the recommendation of the faculty at Generations, I confer upon you the associate degree with all rights and responsibilities that appertaineth thereto. All graduates, please switch your tassels from right to left to symbolize your achievement and allow all to recognize it. Congratulations, class of 2024.
Before we conclude here, we would like to commemorate this special occasion with a class graduation picture. So students, please follow some of the staff to come up to the stage, and we ask you to follow directions.
He's so humble that he doesn't want me to read his actual bio. I'm going to read it because you need to know who we have here in our midst. For as long as I've known Ken, he has been such an inspiration to many. He has an incredible story that he's going to share with you, some that may be similar to your own. But we selected him as our graduation speaker because it's not just because of his illustrious career in government and as a CEO. He's walked with um, presidents, celebrities, politicians, pastors. He's seen it and been there. He has such great insight. And this man is such a great man of great integrity and character. So we wanted to have someone here to celebrate our 120th anniversary that can impart words of wisdom upon you, but that can also help you to shape where you're going, because his journey is so incredible and you'll get a chance to hear it. But from this day forward, we want you to believe in all that can possibly be for your life. So, with that being said, let me share his bio. I'm sorry, but I have to do it. Mr. Barron is a distinguished figure renowned for his multifaceted contributions to public service, philanthropy, and corporate social responsibility. With a steadfast commitment to making a positive impact on society, His journey is a testament to dedication and passion. He embarked on a journey that would lead him to the highest echelons of government, philanthropy, and corporate leadership. His career in public service began with his appointment to the Reagan administration, where he served as Deputy Assistant Secretary for Public Affairs for the United States Department of Health and Human Services. While serving in this position, he played a pivotal role in shaping public policy and communication strategies. Driven by a profound sense of compassion, he co founded the Ronald McDonald House Charities, serving as its president and CEO. Under his visionary leadership, the organization flourished, providing vital support and resources to families facing medical crisis. His tireless advocacy and strategic acumen transformed the charity into a beacon of hope for countless individuals across the nation. Transitioning seamlessly from the realms of public service to philanthropy, he assumed the role of Senior Vice President for Corporate Social Responsibility at McDonald's Corporation. In this capacity, he spearheaded initiatives aimed at enhancing the company's social and environmental impact, championing causes ranging from sustainability to community engagement. Subsequently, he now serves as Chief of Staff and Executive Vice President for the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association, where he has played an essential part in advancing the organization's mission of spiritual outreach and humanitarian efforts. Throughout his career, he has navigated adversity with grace and resilience, emerging as an inspiration for all those he encounters. If you will, please stand and help me to welcome the amazing, remarkable, my friend, Mr. Ken Barron.
Okay, I didn't want to have all those accolades, but I'm very, very, very glad to be here. Uh, this thing keeps messing my eyes up. I hope you don't mind if I take. Christina did it, so I'm going to take it off. Okay. It's a brilliant pleasure to be here. Uh, by the grace of God, go I. And it's so great to see all your faces. I was probably the same age as you when I got my bachelor's degree from the University of Houston. Graduated from high school in 1966 uh, and graduated from college in 1981. So that's a pretty long time in college. Of course, I spent more time on the streets than I did in college. At the age of 15, I started using heroin, and I was a heroin addict for most of that time in those years, and wound up in the streets uh, all over the country, but mostly in Texas. I grew up in New York City, and again, by the grace of God, am I here? And I know that most of you, from just seeing you here today, this is not your first attempt. Most of you are not fresh out of high school, uh, although some of you ladies look just beautiful and uh, could be right out of high school. I don't know. Maybe my eyes are getting old, but it just is a wonderful thing to see you do this and graduate. I've known Grace for 15, 16 years, I guess, and she's asked me to come and speak to the graduating class for the last 10 years, and just a series of things have not allowed me to be here. Uh, I went from the streets, and the job that wasn't mentioned, I became assistant to the president and director of projects for Nancy Reagan, and my office was in the White House for 5 years. So I went from the Jesse Jackson. When I lived here in Chicago, Jesse Jackson was a friend of mine. He said he went from the outhouse to the White House, but Jesse never made it to the White House. He tried, he didn't make it, but I did. Not not by getting elected, but being appointed because I worked on the Reagan campaign. And I was committed to that not because I was a Republican or a Democrat or an independent politically, but I was committed to the purpose that Mrs. Reagan had on preventing drug abuse. To get off of heroin, I went into a drug treatment program in Houston called Senecor. It was a program that started in 1967, and I went in 1972. It was a residential treatment program where you lived, slept, ate, did everything, and you could never be by yourself. It was the toughest thing I'd ever done. It was like a Marine boot camp, prison, and slavery all at the same time. But I stayed there for 11 years. 3 years was the time you were supposed to stay. And I wound up becoming president of that organization. That was all run by addicts and people who had been prostitutes and bank robbers and burglars and addicts and everything else you could imagine. And I learned more about people in that experience than I did in any university or any school that I ever went to. And I was looking for some quotes to use during this presentation, and somebody had once said to me, it was Mark Twain didn't say this to me, I'm not that old, but it was quoted that Mark Twain said this, but I've heard it from other people that wisdom is not a product of schooling, but a lifelong attempt to acquire it. And what I found in my life that I try to impart to my I've tried to my 7 children that I've had, to my newest child, who we are in the process of adopting, that is 7 years old. It's actually my great grandson, whose grandmother, my daughter, died of a drug overdose, and whose daughter is living in this, and my granddaughter was living in the streets. And I got her out of jail when she was 8 months pregnant. And my wife actually cut the baby's umbilical cord when it was born. And she went on to live back in the streets and whatever she planned to do. And we've had him for 7 years, from the time he was born. And now it's my turn to impart the wisdom that I've gotten over all these years from all those experiences to that little boy who is the love of my life. And you too are not, like I said, high school graduates. When I got out of high school and I was using drugs, nothing was important to me except those drugs. Anything anybody said to me didn't mean anything. It was when I got off drugs and went back to school and continued school that I learned so much more with the basis of life experience behind me. You are all going to make a big difference in someone's life. How many of you have children? Quite a few. You know you're a role model for that child. You know that. I don't have to tell you that. They mimic everything you do. They say the words that you say. They act the way that you act. They react the way that you react. So next time that word is about to slip out of your mouth, when you hear it come out of their mouth, and you tell them, don't say that, remember where it came from. Wisdom. It's wisdom. I mean, it's not the greatest wisdom in the world, but it's wisdom. And you've learned that. If you don't want your child to do something, don't do it yourself. It's hard. It's hard. And out of all of my children, I didn't do it with my first 7 kids, but I could do it with this one because I've got the experience. So I went from this drug program, and it's interesting. I will say this to you. I'm a Jewish kid who grew up in New York. I became a believer in Jesus Christ when I was 53 years old. So I'm a Jewish believer in Jesus Christ, which today is an interesting combination of things in this world that we're living in. Uh, but I realized that it wasn't the things that I did, it was what God was putting in front of me. That I was the instrument, no matter what. I hope you all believe in God, whatever God it may be. Uh, I happen to believe in the one God that most people do, in God somewhere in their heart. But I realized all this was not luck. It wasn't just something that happened. It wasn't an experience that I made happen, because you don't go from the gutters sticking needles in your arms in the worst possible places you could be to sitting in the Oval Office in the White House in Washington being listened to. I'm not bragging about that. I'm telling you, I didn't know what I was doing. When McDonald's hired me from the White House to start this charity, didn't even have a name for it, became Ronald McDonald House Charities. Most of you know that. It was McDonald's, used to be out in Oak Brook. I lived out in Darien. I'll tell you a little story. My wife, my present wife, I was divorced from my first wife, but my second wife was the barber at McDonald's headquarters. She and her sister owned a barber shop there. And when we got married, the pastor said, we're gathered here together to pay tribute to a good haircut. So that's where I met her. But I was at McDonald's and they asked me to start. I didn't know what I was doing. I had no idea how to start this thing. When I started, they gave me $300,000 to give away to organizations. When I left in 2000, when did I leave there? I left there in 2007. The organization had $1.6 billion in assets. So from 300,000 to 1.6 billion, I couldn't even conceive of that. But it happened because people were interested. People saw what it was doing bad right now in your life, which meant I'm staying in your life.
An EK member.
The Lambda Epsilon Chi, the National Honor Society founded by the American Association for Paralegal Education in 1996 to recognize persons who have demonstrated superior academic performance in established paralegal programs, and the Alpha Beta Gamma International Business Honor Society, the Business Honor Society for accredited two-year colleges. I would like to introduce Ms. Michelle Underwood, Director of CAPE and PTK Advisor.
Thank you, Mr. Gomenda. I will now start with a presentation of Phi Theta Kappa inductees. The Phi Theta Kappa mission is to 1. Recognize and encourage the academic achievement of two-year college students, and 2. Provide opportunities for individual growth and development through participation in honors, leadership, service, and fellowship. Students who have been named to the Dean's List and/or the President's List for 2 consecutive semesters and have a 3.0 cumulative GPA receive an invitation to become a member of Phi Theta Kappa, Tau Delta chapter. I am proud to announce these individuals who were chosen